Hey guys, I'm Shante Suffren, and here with me we have my lovely husband.
Yo, and we got the Ohgee, the wondrous.
That's so sweet.
The Kelly.
The Kelly.
We got Kelly Ohgee here with us today, one of my good friends. I would say she's a trader, but I think you're a little bit more. You got a lot going on.
I do got a
trading,
lot going on.
entrepreneurship. Really I know you got a lot behind the scenes. Every time I see you on Instagram, you're doing something. So obviously not just a trader, but super happy to have you today.
Thank you.
And I thought you would be such a great guest. Because we talk about relationships a lot, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there are obviously. And we talk about so many different dynamics, right? Between, whether it's a man's role, woman's role, husband, wife, just different takes on different things. But you bring a different perspective because you're a woman who has lots of money, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of from the most standard, basic, traditional aspect, there's a huge imbalance with that.
Yeah.
Right? Because now you bring money to the table.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like you don't need anybody to. You pay your own bills. You run your own team.
And then I take care of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, wow, Kelly brings something to the table where, do you you would probably seek a relationship different from, I guess, what most people or most women would seek a relationship for?
A lot of people seek relationships for security. Mm-hmm. For me, that's not, which is fortunate and unfortunate. That's not what I seek it for.
Yeah.
But then I think a lot of guys get scared because they feel like if they can't provide me that security because I already have it, they're like, then what is my role?
Yeah.
I know, right?
Do you find that that's, I won't say like or how do you approach situations like that? You understanding that, okay, this guy may be interested in me because he likes me, but he doesn't know that what he thinks he could give me, I don't necessarily need, right? So for you, is it he has to make as much money or he has to, what is that like for you?
Wait, 1 second. I think we need to introduce Kelly to the guest first before we dive into the matter.
Well, yeah, I guess I know Kelly.
Yeah.
Isaac said, I know.
He was like, okay, give me the juice. Okay, Kelly, how about you tell our guests or audience rather about you?
Oh, that's so nice. Do you want me to look at the camera?
Either one. You can look at us. Yeah, I guess you could address them and just introduce yourself, what you do, and who Kelly Ohgee really is.
Ooh, well, oh my gosh, I hope I didn't redline that thing. Nice to meet everybody. My name is Kelly Ohgee, and I do a lot of things, but I like to say that what I do doesn't matter if it's not helping you. But to give you kind of an idea of what I do, I first started out in the trading world, trading in the stock market. I went into the foreign exchange market. Then I started a company based on educating people. We did really well. We made millions of dollars. But then I felt like the company wasn't giving everything that it needed to give. And I really felt that if you're going to have a product or service or just serve people in some way, you should serve them all the way. So we shut that down. And now we're building out another thing. I had an athlete marketing agency for a while. We're kind of rebranding that because NIL has just gotten really sneaky. And I do content. I also stream. I don't stream the way most people stream, but I would explain that to you. You just have to show up to the stream.
Shameless plug for the stream.
Shameless plug
She's
for the
actually
stream.
so hilarious. Her streams are like a little play. Like she has a character that she pulls out. I love it, and people learn how to trade and how to do.
It's nothing like you've ever seen.
I can assure you of that. So with all of that, I think now we could get into the meat of the matter. But how old were you when you started?
So I started trading at 18, and then craziest story ever, which I would tell, but it's a crazy story.
No, give us the short version.
Okay, the short version is I started trading at 18. I had a negative bank account balance, negative $23 in my bank account. I was dead broke. Your girl had nothing. And I prayed to God because I was like, I'd done every side hustle in the books. I had resold shoes. I had resold clothes, resold jewelry, resold Popeye's chicken sandwiches.
Whoa, pause. Run it back. I guess I'm not there's a certain, okay. So the fact, I don't know what's worse, the fact that you resold them or the fact that people
bought them. Like,
well, that's when I realized, like, wait, I might be good at sales.
definitely.
I think your target audience was just real. Just I don't know. That was the brightest bunch. Yo, Kelly got the Popeye sandwiches. Yeah, the Popeye's right there
for
though.
$20 a piece.
How much was one?
I mean, was that during the craze? Like,
it was during the craze. Yeah.
That man, that set right.
If anything, it shows your ability to spot disparities or like gaps in the market and being able to fill them.
Ooh.
No.
Yes.
No. That whole Popeye's chicken sandwich thing set black people back at least 200 years. At least 200 years. I mean, we was lined up
at least 200.
Across the street for a chicken sandwich. I mean, the stereotype couldn't get no worse. We wrapped around the building for a chicken sandwich. And I was like, no, y'all.
Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy.
So from Popeye's chicken sandwich to trading?
Well, I mean, a whole lot of things. I did real estate acquisitions. I tried wholesaling real estate. I tried drop shipping. I tried print on demand. I tried a social media marketing agency. I wrote essays for people in high school.
You were a hustler.
I did everything, yeah. I never had a job, so like that was my way of trying to make money.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was 18, in October of 2020, I checked my bank account balance and it was negative. And it was negative $23. And so I remember I looked at God and I was just like, you know what? My whole life I've been chasing the money. And it's clearly gotten me to this point. So allow me to chase the education. And that, like, after that, I knew of stocks and like trading, but I'd always like, same thing. You learn about something one day and the next day you want to be really good at it. Yeah. But this time I was like, I'm going to put everything into actually learning it. So my first trade, I had $26 that I put into it because I had a negative bank account balance, but I found $50 in my Robinhood. And when I found that, I was like, okay, so I can send this to my bank account, but then I'd have $26 because it's negative. Yeah. Or I could use it for my first trade.
And leverage that, yeah.
Boom. So my first trade, I turned $26 to $400. By the end of the week, I turned it to $1,100.
$26 or $50?
26.
Oh.
So I used...
Oh, you sent it back to your bank account?
No, I just kept it there.
Okay.
Yeah. But I just used the 26. And then by the end of 2 weeks, I turned $26 to $3,300, which is like turning $260 into $33,000.
That's
like,
insane.
Yeah. So with that success, I started telling everybody about it online. I started a free group. Then I started posting about it on TikTok. My first TikTok blew up. Then the next one blew up. Then the next one blew up. Then it just went crazy. So the group grew. And then I had to get people to manage it. And after getting people to manage it, I was like, wait a second, these people can't do it for free. So we had to charge. Within 2 months of us opening, we'd done 6 figures within a year, but really like 11 months, we'd done $1 million. So
interesting.
It was insane. It was like 2020, I was dead broke, negative bank account balance. 21, I was a millionaire. So it was like, it was crazy. It came so fast.
19.
At 19, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember seeing you on the, what's the podcast name? I think his name's, is it Isaiah?
Oh, no, Xavier.
Yeah. Was that around the same time?
Millionaire Mindsets. Yeah. So I went on that before I was a millionaire. I'd hit 6 figures trading 9 months into trading. So that was like July. And then I went on the podcast and I was like, oh, she's made 6 figures. But then I went on it again a year after as like an updated, like, oh, now I've made $1 million. I think I need to go on it again because I've changed a lot as a person since then. You change a lot, I think, obviously, from 18 to 22 and probably
I would hope
22
so,
to 26.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would hope so too.
I think, one thing you said that I can really relate to is when you said you did all this chasing the money and then now you have, oh, look where it's got me, $23 negative in the bank account.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because logically it makes more sense to dive into the education of anything in order to get really good at it over time. But I think, and I've done the same thing where there's something new, I want to get good at it now. I want to see the results now. I want to do everything else like right now. And it almost never works. Ever. Like it almost never works that way. Like, so one thing I've actually changed my mindset a little bit. Because there's a few different things that I'm getting into right now, and or I've been into it, but my approach is very different. I no longer think about, okay, where am I? It's been 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or it's been a month. Like, I'm thinking to myself now, by the time 2030 comes around, right, I want, because it takes so much pressure off each and every day, right? It takes so much stress, because there's so much stress that comes with trying to be great now, but you haven't earned it. You haven't earned any of it, right? You look at a lot of guys who have, a lot of the guys I look up to, right? Almost none of them came with quick success
at all.
And then every now and then you see like a
crazy story,
a nail in the what's the saying? A nail in the hay, something like that.
A nail in the haystack.
Yeah, so
A needle in the haystack.
A needle in the haystack. A needle in the haystack. And then it's like, oh, if he did it, I can do it. Yeah. But yeah, it's just not like, even me. Like, my mindset has changed so much, where it was, I think where I can relate. That's why I can relate to you so much in regards to wanting to be great now, good now, because I started chasing things instead of the actual skill. And then when I got the things and I didn't feel like I had earned it, it was like, man, did I really earn it?
Very anticlimactic.
It's a little weird. Right?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Both of you experiencing success at a very young age. And I think in this day and age with social media, it can cause people to think that, oh, he just did this overnight, or she just did this overnight. Like, I could be like that, but they don't know about wholesaling Popeye or wholesaling real estate and selling Popeyes.
She could have kept that one in there.
or when you were in college and you've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. Like, I remember when you were selling dog food or something, or pet toys.
It was the same thing she was talking about. Most of the stuff she mentioned, I had done, minus the Popeyes. Never went that route.
Oh my gosh.
But what you're talking about is the online store.
The online store, like you printed out so many flyers. You went around Easton handing them out. I was like, wow. Yeah. But people don't. I mean, they don't see that part of it.
I don't.
Yeah.
So I used to always tell people, and I still agree in this, is like, I became a millionaire in a year, but it took years to get there. So I think everybody just thinks they want that success in that story. And I'm like, my story isn't regular, and nor do I think it's common, nor do I think the story that happens with other people will be common. Like, some people, it'll take them 5 years. Some people, it'll take them 5 months. But, like, I don't know. I'm so with you on that. I think so many times but it's social media. Social media can just plague your mind.
Yes, I do agree with that. But as with anything that is new in the world, there's benefits. There are benefits and there are cons. I think when people leverage social media, it could be an amazing thing. But, the other side of it too, we have the addiction part of it. We have people comparing themselves. Like, depression rates among young people are skyrocketing. And it does coincide with the rise and popularity of social media. But just an interesting take. But anyway, back to you, Kelly. So given your humongous amount of success that you've achieved in such a short amount of time, but at a young age, right? Because at a young age. Back to Isaac's question from the start. How does that impact how you go about seeking relationships?
Ooh-wee. It's pretty hard for a guy to not know what I do. And I think a lot of frustration I found in the beginning was when they found out, they just wanted me to help them. It would be like, we're talking, everything's cool, and then they're like, man, you got to put me on that trading thing. And I'm like,
dude, that is honestly the most annoying thing ever. Like, unless a certain person asks me, like in my family,
like someone really close to you,
someone like really close. Yeah. Like, people are like, yeah, man, I'm gonna DM you, man. Let's connect. I'm like, there's nothing that you could offer me that would make me, that's like a big chunk of change, like a lot of money for me to like want to actually sit down and
walk right through it.
Yeah.
And then like, this isn't a one conversation type of thing. Like, there's experience that has to come and actually learning. It's not like, here's how you do it. And the next day they're like, oh, yeah.
So what frustrates you guys? Is it the request, or is it the mindset behind the request that this is a one-time thing?
I think it's more of, I don't know. That's a good question. I think it's a mix of a few things for me. One, when you do it so long, I think over time, your patience really thins out. Over time, when you're dealing with like literally thousands of people. And I think secondly, it's like they can't possibly understand your perspective of how it looks. It's like a sense of entitlement when someone asks you or assumes that you have the time for all that. Right. But that's why I don't get mad or whatever, because like they don't understand my perspective. But it's also like, come on, bro.
Come on, bro.
I
think for me, it's more of like, I think what I've never wanted to be seen as is just my career. And when you meet somebody, whether y'all are hitting it off, whether it's just a friendship, whether it's just a random person, and like all they label you as is just like what you do. And it's like, I've had friends, and this is why I stopped going out to eat with people for a long time, that I thought we were friends.
They wanted a little session.
Oh my gosh. It's like we show up to eat, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, but I have been thinking about getting into the trading thing. And I'm there like,
here we go.
Do you feel a bit betrayed or deceived?
I feel so blindsided. I'm like, I thought we were going to come here and just talk about life. And then it's like, no, this is a consultation session.
Yeah.
And mind you, they don't even pay for the meal half the time.
Oh,
so
gosh.
It's like, but I think that I want to be seen as not what I can, like, not what I have, but who I am. And I think in past relationship experiences, whether like we just went on dates or I was talking to someone, or even like when I've actually dated people, it was like they viewed me as what I have.
As a resource.
Yeah. It was like, okay, well, I know if I'm with Kelly, then I don't have to worry about this, or she's going to take care of this, or she'll help me learn. And it was just like, but I'm a person, at the core. So it's like, I don't know.
One thing I think solves that is you got to have friends. Not saying you have to get rid of friends.
Yeah.
That aren't in the same financial space, right? A lot of my friends aren't in the same financial space. But I have well, first of all, I don't have a lot of friends.
Yep.
But, come on. But having friends with money as well.
Yeah.
Like Bryson and Anaya.
Yeah.
Like they make a lot of money. Like in their business. Shoot. They make a lot of money. And there are certain things that we can relate to. There are certain things that aren't there. It's not weird, right? If we me, Bryson and I, we used to hang out all the time, right? We used to go places, yada yada. They can't do it too often because every time they try to get you to spend a bunch of money. Oh
gosh!
But we would have a relationship where, hey, we go to dinner and the bill's $500 because 4 people, expensive restaurant.
Yeah.
Hey, he got it. Okay, I got it this time. Right? It's not weird, right?
It's not like how we splitting this.
Yeah. But not
turning savings to checkings.
Yeah.
But also having genuine friends as well. Like the friends I have, they don't expect me to do that. They go everywhere, and I know how they feel. And I'm like, hey man, don't worry about it. Like if I know that, hey man, this may be a little bit, like hey, don't worry about it. Yeah. Like if I invite you somewhere, you good. But yeah, I think I can definitely relate to that. But also, I would say for me personally, unless we're cool, I don't be going to like lunch and like.
Oh no, I don't do that anymore at all.
Like, so you used to do it a lot?
Because like I was still leading, and this is the unfortunate part that happens when people have to put themselves on a pedestal. Is I was leading like, you're a regular person, I'm a regular person, we're 2 regular people going out to have a regular meal.
That's how you were seeing it.
Yeah, because I didn't realize so many people saw me as what I had.
Kelly Ohgee.
Yeah, like I was talking to my brother literally the other day. Like it's still so weird to me when I'll post somebody on my story, or like, I don't know, I'll post something or like somebody's, I don't know, and they like freak out like, oh my gosh, Kelly, like Kelly, and I'm like,
it's just a like, bro.
And no, I must say you do have star power, and it's okay to recognize that. When I first saw, I was like, oh my gosh, Kelly Ohgee, nice. I wouldn't say I'm like a fangirl, but I do see what you've done, and as a black woman in this space. But I must say I was a bit surprised by how short you are.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're tiny.
I'm like, where's the rest of you?
Like, yeah, you're actually like.
No, I'm 5'8"
I never
on
thought
a
you were
really
tall,
good day.
But like when I saw you in person, I was like, wow.
It's like, oh.
It's like, do you like have like a booster seat at your trading desk, or like
You know
that's
what's
like
crazy?
you hop into your car, like literally, like, hey, let's hop into the whip real quick. You know, you got to get up in there.
I'm just saying.
Emotion. What's crazy is I actually think I need a booster seat for my Lambo.
Yep. Might have to invest in one of those. You look lovely in it, by the way.
I do. I feel like it looks
The
so
color,
big on. The blue. You're a hater.
I'm not a fan of the color.
He's a hater.
Anyways, you look lovely in it. Well, yeah, the question though. So even platonic relationships, you do have to be a bit more guarded.
Yeah, you have to start being willing to say no or ignore people or just tell them like, hey, you know, I just don't have the capacity for that. The beautiful thing about putting yourself on a pedestal is you can just say I'm busy. And then like, what are they going to do?
That's believable.
You know?
Well, now everybody knows who's watching, who's going to see this.
But here's the thing is like, you always make time for who you truly want to make time for.
True.
And I feel like people try to convince themselves that that's not true. But it's like, if I really want to see you, I will find a spare 30 minutes or hour in my day to do so. If I feel that seeing you is worthy of my time at that given moment. Sometimes seeing you is not worthy at that time. It might be in 2 days. It might be in 4 or 5 days. But like, I just don't believe when people are like, oh, I've been too busy. Because I know when a guy is serious at the same time. Like in my experience of meeting a lot of really cool men is like, you know when a guy is serious about you because the energy is different. You never even have to ask like, okay, what is this? Or does he want to see me? Or it's just like.
If he wanted to, he would.
Exactly.
So what are your requirements?
In a man?
Yeah. I know you don't like to give out too much about your love life but at this point and stage in your career and like where you are mentally, what does somebody need to come with in order to even stand a chance?
I think one, relationship with God. Because I'm very big on my relationship with God. I'm not like gonna shove Jesus down your throat, but you gonna know he's there. Amen. 2, he has to, this is a weird one, but he has to be organized.
Yeah.
A lot of men, like, organized, like, he keeps his space clean. He's disciplined, you know, like, and a part of discipline for me is, like, in the gym. I think being in the gym is.
You don't want no couch potato.
Your gym post this morning, I was like, yes. My girl was, where were you?
I be going to the gym. Tell her, come on, defend me. Waiting on you.
He started boxing. He found a new gym.
Oh,
shoot.
In Dallas.
Yeah, we just moved. I mean, come on.
We've been here over a month.
And had to settle in and all that good
That's
stuff.
a fair excuse. We'll let him have it. We'll let you have it this time. But no, he has to have a good relationship with God, disciplined, organized, a drive. Like I have a very strong level of like faith in where I'm going. And so there's a saying that I really love, which is when you're looking for a partner, run a race towards your purpose as fast as you can, towards your own. Because so many people get lost in what somebody else has going on. So many girls or guys like lose themselves to their partner. But when you are running the race towards your purpose, if you look beside you, find the person that's running just as fast. If the person is, because here's the thing is like, and this is unfortunate, you could meet a really cool person, but they're behind you. And so now you have to slow down in your purpose until they catch up.
To facilitate them.
Exactly. Or somebody that's way ahead, and now you're overexerting yourself where you can't afford to try and catch up to them. And it's like, it's good to meet somebody at a good balance. Now, I know like everyone's biggest question is always financially. What do I look for in a man? Because like everyone always says, as a woman, you need a man that's making more than you. Right. I just think you need a man that is intentional and puts in effort. Like I personally, I don't need the man to be a quadrillionaire. I don't need him to make more money than me, but I do need him to make enough money for the both of us. Whereas like
coming from somebody in Chanel sneakers.
I don't know about that. That's such a woman take.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Well, okay,
that's
so
such a women take.
Here's where I've had to adjust my mindset with that. There's 2 ways. I either date a guy that's way older that like has the money, or I recognize that I'm 22 and the average 22-year-old guy is not going to be making 10, 15, 20 million dollars.
Right.
So it's like, I understand that you should be somewhere, but it's like, do you have a vision that by 27 you might be at that point, or by 32, which that don't mean from 27 to 32 you're making nothing. But it's like, are you a very vision-oriented person, and are you serious about that? And do you at least make money to take care of where you're currently at, or where I'm currently at as well? And I'm not saying that means like we're going first class flights to the Maldives every Sunday, which I would be fine with personally. But it might just mean like, hey, Kelly, this weekend I want us to go to Austin. You know, he drives. The gas is like, what, $100. We go to Austin, hotel he pays for. It could be like $200. It's like the trip could be $1,000 trip.
Right.
You know, I'm not asking for like a $20,000, $30,000. But I think that's the misconception, is a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, if I'm not buying her Chanel, if I'm not buying her Dior, if I'm not buying her first class, like, but again, that's just because I feel like I require more from different areas, because financially that's not something I have to worry about. I also don't think my man will, especially if he's driven and serious. I feel like people like that will always find success in life. But yeah, I don't require the financial part is so heavy, because I think the worst thing in the world is for someone to make a lot of money but be nothing at the core.
Right.
Which is a lot of men. A lot of men feel like, when I have money, I'm a man. And it's like, no, you become
There's
a
so
man
much more
before you make the money. And I don't know. I don't hold money to that high of a regard.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You making, so, okay, just a hypothetical, right?
Yeah.
You like a guy likes you, awesome. He's driven, he's doing all this stuff, right, to get to where he's going.
Yeah.
Let's say he's not going to make any money for like 5, 6, 7 years, right? Like, or maybe that's a little extreme. Let's say there is no timetable when he will start bringing in money, but everything else, he checks the box.
Yeah.
Right? Do you think you would grow to resent him because you feel like you're taking care of him now?
So I've been in the situation before.
As a man.
Unfortunately.
where you've helped somebody.
Yeah, where I was with somebody who wasn't making money.
Yeah.
And like when I say wasn't making anything. Now, I loved all the traits in him as a man outside of that for the most part. I think like you're never going to 100% love everything about every single piece of somebody, but that's love you grow to adjust to it and you grow to love it. But yeah, it at first I was trying to be patient with that like situation where it's like, I know you're driven, I know you're trying, but like, now I'm being put in this weird position where I'm taking care of everything. And naturally as a woman, I'm submissive. Like, it's like, that's just how my dad has raised me, my sisters, is you're always going to take care of your man. And I'm Nigerian, and just culturally, like, I just feel like if you're from the islands or if you're from Africa, it's just, there's a cultural difference from America. Shantae would know. You would know. I mean, you married Shantae. But there's a cultural difference in the way you take care of your husband. And so for me, naturally, it's what I've been accustomed to. The problem was where I was ready to serve and submit, I was now put in the role of providing. And it just, it grew me to like irritation a lot of times. I was highly irritable. And it's just the relationship was just hitting heads every single day, because you're patient for so long before you're like, the resentment grows when you want to cook for him or something. And then it's like,
you're paying for the groceries, you're paying for the light bill, you're paying for the food.
You're paying for,
and you're making it too.
It's like, so.
Exactly. To my point, this is where I said the take y'all had, I feel like it's just such a women's perspective, right? On what sounds good, right? In reality, I don't think any man or any woman, money or not, like, I think there's a certain number where, okay, hey, like, let's take it, Zendaya and Tom Holland. Okay, they both worth $100 million. Right? Who cares if she makes? I need some of that. and Zendaya probably makes way more. Yeah. Right? Sponsorships and all that stuff. She probably makes way more. But they both worth $100 million minimum. So it's like, okay, like, who really cares? But like in Kelly's situation, which is what I was saying, it's like, man, I don't know. Like, if you made more than me with our current relationship, I feel like I couldn't help but feel like, man, my value as a man kind of decreased a little bit.
Right. You couldn't just be like, it's not that you're making nothing, You just make a little bit less.
Now, I want you to make a lot of money, right? Yeah. I just have to
make more.
I just have to be somewhere in that mix.
Every time Shantae makes more, Isaac's like, bet, new mission.
like, you know, but again, I do believe like at a certain number, again, like there becomes a certain amount of money that you can have.
Yeah, because threshold, once you've passed that, it's like it don't matter no more.
Yeah, because you can, I think at a certain point, I don't know what the number is now because like inflation and stuff like that. But once you make a certain amount of money, you can really enjoy life and do kind of what you want at a certain amount per month. But yeah, man. I mean, obviously your situation is a lot different because you are 22 years old, right?
Yeah, you are an outlier.
Yeah, I found that like the men that usually actually make sense are like, dude, they're like 40, and I'm like,
are you attracted to that? Not really. No.
It's really difficult to like you can tell they're in a serious position in their life and they can take care of you, and it's not that I haven't tried it, but it was just like
a little weird.
To me, I think what was weirder is I'm like, well, why are you comfortable talking to a 22-year-old?
Yeah.
Hey, grown is grown. Yeah. Grown is grown.
I mean,
I think grown is grown.
Yeah, as long as you're like above 18, 19, 20. Oh. Like above that range, because still like 18, 19, 20, you're still, you know, you're an adult, but you're still, you know, figuring yourself out.
Yeah.
But, you know, she's 22.
I think it's also a level of maturity. I think my maturity level is far higher, which is usually where they're like,
Yeah.
But it does grow to concern me. But I mean, that's not, it's just, I just don't want my kids to have a dad that's like.
On his deathbed.
Yeah. Not.
Or
yeah.
20 years older than mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, but naturally I found myself more attracted to guys that are in my age range.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But are somewhere with themselves. Like, so for me, if a guy makes 6 figures.
Is that good enough?
That's fine. Like, I don't ever want to know how much my man actually makes. Like, I don't care to know what his bank account looks like. Mm-hmm. I just want to know that if the bills need to be paid, they're paid. If a date needs to be planned, that it's taken care of. Like, that's...
With your bills, I don't know.
But no, you know what's crazy? Is like my bills aren't crazy.
No?
All my money goes mainly to the company, but my own standard of living, aside from rent, it's what he might cry about. But like,
yeah,
I don't spend like that.
Question on your previous experience of being with somebody that wasn't quite there financially.
Yeah.
How did you make sure like they felt like a man still, or did they not feel like a man?
Yeah, I don't. Looking back, obviously maturity comes with time when you can actually reflect on it. Looking back, I don't think I did a good enough job at all at making him feel like a man. I feel like I could have done 20 times better. I think what I did was I let my irritation overshadow. So it's like I said, he had everything that I'd want in a man minus the financial part. Like, it wasn't like he was making some money. It's like he was making no money.
Wow.
And that it's really hard when someone isn't even making like $100, you know.
But you pick them up. Like, the funny thing is, like, people would look at you like, yo, I could not even talk to Kelly. I have $50 to my name, but you've gone through somebody that hasn't been.
That does not mean that you people should get in my DMs. but
you've done that, and one thing I recognize in you, Kelly, is that you're such a giver. Like, you're so kind. You're very selfless. Yeah. And when you told me about that experience, I was like, are you okay? Like, are you mentally disturbed?
No.
Because Kelly,
I'm not okay.
You're amazing. I just love to see what you're doing and where you even have to go, right?
Amen.
But the fact that you poured so much into this person,
yeah, and
they still ended up deciding to call it quits. Not you should have been the person to be like.
Well, I did 3 times, but I couldn't stand on business. I was like, that is my man, and I'm gonna get him back. But no, it was, and this is the part I think really messed me up and made me feel like I need to do a lot of reflection in terms of boundaries I set with people in my life and just like in the future. Is so he had no money the entire relationship. I took care of everything. I would never, I want to, but I would never, because that's just not the person I am, get into the extent of everything I did for this person. But essentially I took him out the hood, you know. Wow. And once they got to making money, finally, like they got to a really good spot with making money, it was kind of like they were like, yeah, I don't need this anymore. And it felt like everything that I had done had just been completely discredited.
Yeah.
And you know how they always say, like, don't build a man up because you just gonna build him up to leave you.
Do you agree with that?
I didn't want to, but I mean, I just think people should go to where they're most valued, and like where it makes sense. Because I think that for me, though, I wanted it so badly to work, it just,
because you mentioned how he had all the qualities,
yeah,
except for the financial part,
yeah,
and for a man, that financial part may be the biggest piece.
it was.
Because without good finances, I couldn't confidently do what I do, right? I couldn't, like, to be able to say I can take care of my family. That's like the staple of being a man, right?
Yeah.
Taking care of your mom, your whoever it may be, your wife, the mother of your wife, your own mother, everything. Being able to say that is huge. So and I think without that, until I got to that point, obviously I'm there. But if I wasn't at that point, like I can't see a reality where I could confidently, like, there would be no fun. Like, there would be, like,
you don't think there's more to you? You don't think a man can be a man without having that part of them?
No.
I don't think that's how men are raised.
Even in the Bible, it says that a man who does not take care of his family or leave something behind for his family is no man at all.
Oh.
Right? Obviously, it's not that harsh.
No, I get what you're saying.
But it's like, it's what a man is. To that's like the job, safety, protection, everything.
But I think controversial opinion, whenever I see stuff like that, I'm like, well, I just don't think guys should be getting in relationships if they're not where they need to be. I mean, not just guys, girls too. I think a lot of people look for a relationship to solve them. I've been reading a book. It's called, what's it called? The Human Magnet Syndrome. And it talks about, like, relationships and how, like, all of our relationships are born from how we were raised as children, like who we turn out to be in a relationship. And a lot of it is just an insecurity. So a lot of times when men jump from relationship to relationship to relationship, knowing they're not where they need to be, it's to feed that insecurity, which is like, But I feel like a part of someone's deeper level thinking is, okay, I'm not where I need to be as a man. Mm-hmm. Let me go focus on where I need to be. Because I feel like even as a guy, if you have money, your choice of woman severely increases.
Like, the pool gets a lot bigger. Yeah. You could be ugly. you could be butt ugly.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, oh, he must, we'd be walking sometimes, I'd be like, oh, he must have money.
Oh, gosh.
Ain't no way it's straight money. He ain't that funny.
So basically what you're saying is that a man's value is in what he can provide. Naturally.
It just meant, like, whether you want to get all, this new age of whatever. That's like at its core, that's what it is, right? There's just I think it all kind of goes back to a staple of what a family is. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's not like women can have their own money, but nothing worse than a man who can't provide, like, just like can't for his family. And not saying, like, obviously you work towards it and life's hard, stuff's expensive nowadays.
Yes.
But I'm with Kelly on that. Like, I think it's situational too. I think there's either you choose to grow with somebody, or let's say if you're single out in the world, maybe you shouldn't be pursuing certain things until yourself is in order. Because me and you out of college, I didn't have money. Or I did when I left. But during college, when we were both Lafayette freshman year, that's different. Me and her were locked in. So if we had left college at that moment and got married, it would have been, okay, we're growing together. Mm-hmm. This is what we're doing. Yeah. But let's say I meet you at 27, like, and you're 28 or whatever, and I don't have nothing going on. Like, what am I doing hollering?
Yeah.
And the thing is, men love to holler at things that are outside of their budget.
They love the chase. They love the challenge and the chase.
And then you'd say, okay, once you've gotten that, it's like they don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
I don't know about the chase.
You don't know about the chase?
I don't know about that. Maybe that's some old school stuff, but like,
I mean, like, outside, like, they love to holler at somebody that looks expensive. Like,
but I think
my
the
gosh.
chase is the challenge. Like, guys love to challenge themselves to see if they can get something.
Yes.
And Isaac, you went and showed me that freaking intro video in his studio of, like, that. It's like a video game thing you're making.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, what side quest is this in your life?
Oh yeah, with animation, like
challenge.
people, men love challenge, and I guess that boils
love
down
to try and do something that or pursue something that at first didn't seem easy.
I think it depends, because here's the thing. Again, I think there's a pool of men that are like me, where if I say what's up to you and you clearly say you're not interested, cool, bet.
the chase is not blatant disregard.
Yeah, the chase is.
There's a bit
what
of
do you
interest.
guys mean about chase?
The chase is like one. I guess one person, you could look at it as one way, and that is like the waiting until marriage thing. That is definitely a chase. I hate when people gamify waiting until marriage, but it is a chase. It's like it's a challenge that men have to take many times. Not saying that woman.
You just made me realize, because she low-key brought up a good point with that. Like waiting till marriage, it goes back to how if you meet a guy, unfortunately this is how it is for a lot of women. If you meet a guy and first night, first week, second week, he's able to get in bed with you, the respect that he has for you severely decreases.
I say that all the time.
Because he's just like, dang, if it was this easy for me.
Right.
Who else
That's
is it easy
exactly
for?
what it is. Like, literally. Like, man, this some sad shit right here.
But I mean, he's like, you know what they say on social media, still hit though.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, when a woman is like, I'm not doing that, then a guy is more intrigued to like,
Very much so.
whoa, if this isn't easy for me, it's not easy for nobody. And men are naturally territorial. They're possessive.
Exactly.
They
Yep.
want that.
I'm so glad you understand that, Kelly.
You know,
I be trying to articulate
my dad is
that.
in my life very heavily. Dad is
It
my
makes
man.
that's literally what she said is like 100% true. 100% true. Like, it's so hard to, especially when we talk about things that men value, right?
Yeah.
Possessive, right? Imagine me wanting to be possessive over, my girl, and so many people have had access to her.
Yeah.
What am I being possessive over?
Wow, that's a bit controversial.
That's not controversial. I think that's logic,
I
though.
think
Okay, let me ask you this. This is a question that somebody on TikTok asked me. Is it worth it to wait until marriage if you are not a virgin?
I still think so.
But
You're
based
asking
on
Isaac. Okay,
both of you, like on your premise, on the argument that you just spoke on, it doesn't.
I think it still does.
Okay, but
Past matters. I think it does, right? That's personal work. Good for you, right? You can always make life changes,
yes,
right? But if you decide you want to do that and you have, let's say you're an ex porn star or something,
oh gosh,
or like someone who's been somebody who's been very sexually active, to me that's not going to be, okay, I'm glad you made the life decision for yourself. That's awesome, but the past still matters, right? To a certain extent.
Did I tell y'all the story? I don't know if I told y'all the story of when my dad said his cousin's engagement got called off.
no,
Really?
I never told y'all that story.
What happened?
After he told me the story, I promise you, I was like, let me tell you something. No man ain't touching me. But so basically, one day my dad was just chilling in the house, and his cousin busts in the room, and she's just crying, bawling her eyes out. And he's like, "What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong?" She's like, "Oh, my fiance, he ended things. He doesn't want to get married anymore. He called off the wedding." It's like a week before their wedding.
No.
Calls off the wedding. And so, she's obviously, like, I feel like that has to be the most heartbreak of all heartbreaks.
oh gosh.
Yeah, it's
Like, I
crazy.
felt heartbreak, but, like, to know you're about to marry somebody.
And African weddings are not small.
Oh, at all.
Wait, so
Keep
what
watching.
happened? What happened?
Okay,
Yeah.
So my dad's like, "Don't worry, I'm gonna go talk to him because it's a bro to bro thing." Like,
Yeah.
So he goes, gets in the car, drives to her ex fiance at this time's house, and he's like, "Bro, what happened? My cousin's a good woman. She's really sad. What happened? All this," and her ex fiance is like, "Man, I was at my bachelor party yesterday. Whatever." My dad's like, "Okay," and he's like, "So I'm just sitting around with the boys." So here's what happens. He's sitting around with all his boys. They're enjoying the bachelor party. They're celebrating the fact he's about to get married. And he's like, "Man, I just love this woman. She's such a good woman." It's like, "Man, I got a woman nobody else can have." Like, let me tell you, I'm so excited. He's just going on and on about how much raving about his woman.
Yeah.
Respectable. We love it. But then he finishes and everybody's silent. And he's like, and then one dude just goes, And he's like, are you laughing? And
Oh no! Oh, I'm already crashing out.
he's like,
No.
he's like, bro. And he's like, what? He's like, man, we wanted to tell you, but you were so in love with her. He was like, what do you mean?
No, stop.
He was like, you don't know she been around the block? And there was like a name they gave her, which I don't even remember the name, but that's so bad. So basically, he told him he was like, she was, let's say like round around town or something like that. So it was like, they used to call her round around town because like everybody been with her. All of us been with her.
No.
Nah, see,
No.
as a homeboy, nah.
And you never tell him before?
You never tell me? That's crazy.
Well,
She didn't tell him?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, but I guess like their thing was he's so in love, we're not going to ruin it.
Nah.
I don't know. Sometimes.
You don't let me know, bro. There's a problem.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not a guy, but I feel like if you see your homeboy is clearly madly in love, you might be like, you know what? Maybe she's a changed woman. I don't know.
I guarantee no guy would ever want to be in a relationship with somebody that his homeboy hit before. There's no way.
Yeah.
Now that's my wife, and my homeboy been with my wife. Now I gotta have that
The
statement.
past is the past.
No, it's not.
But
no.
so that's what my dad was saying with the story. Is like after he found out, I mean, obviously he was enraged. He goes to her and he's like, "Hey, this is off. We're done."
Wait, did he was under the impression from her that she was
very innocent. I'm sure she changed. Went to go get saved
Right.
by
You see,
God.
that's why God is good.
You know,
Jesus would have been like, you're washed clean. Honestly,
amen. Born again virgin.
Amen. And
Amen.
like, why the man could have cut off those friends and go be with him woman.
Well, I think so. My dad was saying, because obviously we know there's double standards with men and women when it comes to that.
If the man was around the block and him name, what we call him is mattress, and it's like mattress, everybody like sleeps on. Yeah. And you go there with a mattress as a woman, you don't feel I'm ashamed? I'm ashamed of you.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to be with the man that like my homegirl.
Right.
Like, I wouldn't want to.
Listen,
reasonable.
I saw a snippet of Love Island. I barely watched the show.
Yeah.
But they're doing body counts. And this guy has like 150. I said, you are a walking disease.
And I
been with my homeboys though. Oh my god.
But one thing I also
that's
had
room to break up a marriage. Or like engagement.
Well, I think it's
my homeboys. At knowing how they talk about different women they hit before. Oh my.
You're gonna call off a wedding.
I would torch it. Completely done. You
No,
kidding me?
Yeah.
You kidding me? You mean I gotta live with that? Every time I see him, like my mind would just, oh my gosh, nah, man. Nah,
But
it would
I
take me a
think-
while to recover from that.
Because I'm sure it did. I mean, I'm sure that was so hard because he really loved her.
That's tough.
But my dad just told me that as a way of like, as a woman, you have to always make sure that you are protecting your image because you don't want to meet a man that you feel like is the right man. Because at the end of the day, this is one thing my mentor told me is he was like, Kelly, as a woman, you gamble with love. As a man, I get to choose. I can go talk to 7 different girls, figure out what I like the most about all these different girls, figure out if I want to pursue this girl. But as a woman, you have to sit down and wait. You have to hope that the man that comes to you is the right choice. Mm-hmm. So you're gambling. You don't want to be in the position where you get a really good man and what you did in the past because you were immature or you weren't really caring about what your future looks like. Maybe like we don't know where you were in that time of your life, but you don't want to get to the point to where you meet a really good man and he is like ready to go with you, but what you did in the past hinders your future progression. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that is just such a bar because when my dad told me that, I was just like, dang. And I try to tell all my homegirls, you know, some of them don't listen. Some of them.
So you're willing to wait until marriage?
Absolutely. I'm sure it's quite possibly the most difficult thing ever. And obviously temptation is huge. I think sexual immorality is the largest temptation in the Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah. The biggest.
Like you sin against yourself.
Yeah.
When you engage in stuff like that.
But it's like at the same time, you know, it's you have to be willing to sacrifice what you want now for what you want forever.
Later. Yeah, forever, essentially.
Yeah, and for me, I wouldn't want a man to meet me and be like, dang, Kelly was a little too easy. You know?
Yeah. I was at my little sister's AAU tournament last weekend. And I was talking to them. First of all, I can feel every part of my brain right now.
Shout out Celsius.
No, I'm so serious. Like my thoughts are like sometimes I think you hear me. Like, but I'm not even talking. I'm like, hold on, am I interrupting her right now?
Y'all need Celsius to sponsor the podcast. Celsius.
I just had to put that out there because it's ridiculous. Like my frontal lobe is just like responding before I'm actually
The prefrontal cortex.
Yeah, all right. Look, the men's brain develops at 25. I might have got early progression. Look, all right. Back to what I was saying. So I just went to my little sister's AU tournament.
Yeah.
And me and my father were kind of talking about, oh well, Maya, she this little boyfriend, yada yada, whatever, Nevaeh, little boyfriend. And I told her, I said, I used to be the one in high school to say that to everybody's little relationship, oh, that's your relationship is so dumb, right? It means nothing.
Yeah.
Right, in high school, whatever, right? Only like small percentage of you are going to get married out of high school sweethearts, right? But then I went on to tell him, I said, look, a man will always change. Don't ever say a man can't change.
Yeah.
If a man wants you, truly does, he will change. And I use myself as an example. And I'm actually so happy I can use myself as an example because I was D1 athlete, 6'4", ripped.
I'm so
and
sorry.
I was playing.
He's giving us the whole Tinder pro.
Right,
Yeah,
no, real talk. I was like that guy that a perfect, like people look at me and say, oh, he gets around.
Yeah.
Without me even doing anything. They'd be like, oh, you're a player, aren't you? I just had that build, like perfect, right?
Yeah.
And beginning of my freshman year, right, where I'm not thinking about waiting until marriage, nothing like that, but at the beginning of my freshman year, I meet her, and she tells me these are my non-negotiable, or this is my non-negotiable, and I say, okay. Somebody who literally, just keeping it real, could have chosen anybody, right, at that time for the next 4 years, right, while I'm in college. I wasn't, and you got social media. I got girls hitting me up on my phone, texting me, whatever. Got to get my number from my teammates, all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But having the opportunity I had, but wanting her, I changed everything, right? So I told them, I said, look, guys, don't ever settle. I said never. If a man isn't willing to wait, then he just doesn't want you enough. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
And that says more about him than it does about you.
Yeah.
And you just have to be okay to live with that.
Yeah.
Because I could have easily said, oh, this is not something I want to do with Shantae. Shantae keeps her respect. And Shantae moves on with her life. And she does what she has to do. But I chose, again, a guy with plenty of options at that time.
This is a bar.
No, and it's
Shantae's head is gassed up right now.
yeah, for sure. And that's the best thing. And to be able to know that I did it that way. And I have 3 little sisters. And I could tell them each the same thing, not because it's the right thing to say or it sounds good, because I actually did it. And literally, like, I think it doesn't get worse than a college male D1 athlete in regards to lack of commitment and untrustworthy.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But again, to be that build, to be the worst of the worst in college, and then be able to commit to something as drastic as that, I told him, I said, look, there are plenty of guys like me out there. There aren't the popular percentage, but there's plenty. So never settle.
Yeah.
So, ever.
No, I agree.
You have that message for your sisters, but would you also have that message for your little brother if you were to have one?
The messaging would be different. It would be different in terms of how it is. Men and women are very different. So it wouldn't be necessarily, I guess, I don't know. I haven't prepared myself to even have that conversation because he's like literally 2 years old.
Yeah.
But I guess, go ahead.
The fact that it's even different though shows a lot on like the double standard in society.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, there's always gonna be double standards.
I understand that, but I think the same message needs to be taught to men on valuing themselves. Honestly,
I agree.
I believe that sex is very intimate. It's also spiritual. You don't want to insert yourself in somebody that has, people have demons walking around in them, you know?
My girl Shantae, I was literally going to say that is like, because the Bible literally says when a man has sex with a prostitute, they become one. Meaning you get all of her bad, you get all of her good. And that's why like having sex is a covenant, because blood is shed whenever it happens, right? And so you don't want to just be messing with everybody. To you, it's like, oh, I'm fulfilling this thing. It's going to make me feel good for 17 minutes, maybe
17
right?
minutes. Kelly, let's be real.
But I'm just saying, like, you don't want to do that, and now you're getting all the good and bad of everyone they've been with, who Lord knows how much that is, and then all the good and bad of everyone you've been with, and it's just like,
Yes.
and then this isn't even the person that you're going to marry to be able to fight those battles with. So it's like there's
The
character
men
development
need
is
to
beautiful.
save themselves or just lock it up.
Some people are going through a lot of the issues they're going through in their life because they adopted it from somebody else. They randomly have started having anger problems. You're getting irritated all the time. You don't know when this started.
Where's that spirit coming from? It came through your penis, sir.
Whoa, boom. She's spitting the bar, low key.
Yeah, I think
But you can pray it out. That's the
Yeah.
beautiful thing, is you can pray those spirits away. It's just not going to be like just a simple, like, God, take them away. And then you also have to be intentional about, okay, let's say in the past, I have messed up with this person, this person, this person. Now for the future, I am intentional about saving myself. I'm intentional about making sure this is the right person. That's not to say, like, it's of course easier said than done. You may have some people that mess up a little bit. But again, the thing is prayer and making sure you are intentional about what the future looks like. But shoot, that's like a whole nother conversation I'm sure y'all would love to touch on.
I think what I would say to little bro would be, I would stress for women, for my little sister, it was more about self-respect. For him, it would be more about discipline.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah, that's fair.
That's why the conversation would be different, right? When, like, you guys, little sisters, this is about self-respect, knowing your value and living with that. But sexual discipline, again, is for if a man isn't disciplined, first off, like there's a man who is not sexually disciplined is very dangerous for multiple reasons. Some men turn that into violence, right? Some men turn that into, again, prostitution, seeking, like they can't function without that, right? And it's the downfall of a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, I don't have no money. I have no skills. I have a horrible life. But whenever I get some change.
At least not pool, though.
Yeah. Like,
okay.
yeah,
Congrats, I guess.
so for me, that would be it. Like nothing will take a man down the wrong path like a woman.
Have you seen the thread or the story that like sex is a poor people activity? Like when you look at it,
I have heard that.
Yeah.
I ain't heard that before.
It's like when you look at it, when your life is so full, not that, you can't have both, but when there's so much to your life where sex is not at the forefront, like you're pursuing things, you're pursuing goals, and you could still have a fulfilling, physically intimate relationship with your partner. But I don't know how true this is. I don't know what, like, fact check me, please. But when your life is so full, like sex does not take up so much of it.
100%. I don't think I ever really... I'm about to expose myself. Not actually, but like that's not something that I'm like, well, I really wish I could just go find somebody. It's just like, there's just so much that I'm pushing towards in life. Yeah. It's like, I don't want to do this. And I feel like it's a distraction to do it right now.
It can be a distraction.
Yeah, because what are you going to do? Where you want to stay up late, maybe you're feeling motivated, stay up late working. Instead you stay up late calling somebody to come over. You watch a movie, stuff happen. Next day, maybe they stay over a little long. It's like, it just puts such a wrench in your plans. To me, that's just not, I don't know when that'll ever be an excitement for me.
Being single is time consuming.
Being single and seeking a relationship.
Yeah. For a man,
you're saying...
No, for a man, it can be very time consuming. Because like a lot of the time, like she said, you could be thinking about, oh, I'm going to slide her DMs. I'm going to get her DMs. Yeah. Right. I think, like, I know guys who literally, they can't function if like they don't got to know what's the move tonight. Like, it's so nice not to have to ask you, hey, what's the move tonight? Hey, we can go on a date and we can hang out. Right.
And that's
wow. This is sorry for the third wheeling here. I'm into it.
No, but I agree with you 100%. 100%.
I do want to be respectful of Kelly's time. We know we have an appointment and you need to get to. Do you want to speak on it before we drop?
Oh, what?
On the importance of therapy and having both. And
I'm sure my therapist, she'll understand. She does understand my schedule, so she's awesome. No, so when I first went to therapy a year ago, it was because I just broken up with my ex, and I was like, well, one, I'd broken up with him because, again, I was highly irritable, and I thought he was such a great guy.
Right.
And I was like, I want to treat this man 20 times better. I need to figure out why I'm always so irritated. Because I also don't want to like go to everybody and be like, here's our issues. Can you figure it out? You know, which shout out to therapy. I'll never do a man like that again. Unfortunately for him, it took him for me to learn that.
Right.
But I went first to like, hey, let me work on myself as a girlfriend.
You went by yourself?
I went by myself. No, not with him, by myself. Like I generally wanted us to take time apart to like figure ourselves out. And if it was meant to be, we'll come back together. Time wasn't taken because I couldn't stand on business. He also couldn't, let's be fair. But I mean, that's not the point. The point was I wanted to go. But then after like one day in therapy, I was like, why do I need therapy when I got Jesus?
Right.
You know, like I was just like, I could just pray and God can fix things and I'll be intentional about it and I'll fast but it's like that temporarily solved issues, but it didn't help us to dive deep into like what was the core issue that we were having as a couple. And so now, obviously, like we're not together anymore. It's been, since I last went to therapy, it's been a year. Since we broke up, it's been
a long time.
A long time, yeah. But yeah, I was just like, I've gotten to a point in my life where I just feel really good. And I'm like, I want to be better, not just for my next man, because I do want to be the greatest of the greatest for the next man, but also in all my friendships.
Yes.
And as a boss, CEO. I think boss is a little too bossy.
I say it. People love to make women like cower down and like humble women. You are a boss.
A boss.
That's right.
But just like in every situation I have, like I feel like there's so much maturity that comes with diving deep into what problems you have. Because sometimes we can be so like, and that's what I was saying before, stubborn.
Yes.
And we can be like, I mean, I get along with everybody. I don't have issues. Like, I don't know why this person's always getting irritated whenever this happens. Like, they need to just, we grow up completely different. We're taught completely different. We all have different morals and principles and standards. And for me, I was like, I want to really dive deep into who I am, who Kelly is, so I don't bring the past mistakes into the future. Because I want to correct those. And I'm still young enough to do it. But I also, again, same thing with opportunity. I don't want a great man to come and I'm like, dang, I'm not ready for him yet.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think therapy is really good. I think having a great relationship with God is amazing. I think therapy can expose the prayers that should be prayed.
Right.
A lot of times we're praying for growth and substance and, you know, prosperity. But sometimes we need to pray for change in who we currently are.
Yeah. Maybe even pray for discipline. Exactly.
And so, I don't know. I love therapy. You know, my therapist is awesome. She's so cool. We're there like homegirls. I'm like, and you won't even believe they did this. And she's like, no, Kelly. Nah, I think a lot of people should seek therapy. I think men, especially. I think so many men don't realize the insecurities that they hide in themselves. Like, because here's the thing, right? Here's what my dad told me that it goes into how women gamble. He was like, when a man gets out of a relationship, like, he can go shoot a shot at every single person in the club. He doesn't even need to like them. But he can find a good woman because it's easy to find a good woman. But when a woman gets out of a relationship, she kind of has to just hope that a man is going to see her. You know, maybe you'll be at the club like this. You know the look when you just, I mean, I won't be at the club. Maybe you'll be at the grocery store. But there's a look you just know when you and somebody else. But that's it. And so what happens is men just hop from relationship to relationship and don't really work on themselves and their insecurities or like take time to reflect on why the past ended. Because people can't handle being alone. It's hard. It's so hard. You know, your people.
Therapy. Any take on that?
Yeah.
He's definitely of the mindset like I've got God and that's
men
enough.
are like, I'm a man. But
yeah.
Women are much more mature a lot of times because we do take that time to reflect on a lot of things, on the emotional side of things. And men are like, I'm going to suppress my emotions. I don't care how I feel about this. I'm not going to cry. Nobody's going to know. I'm just going to keep on pushing. And so many times they become so destructive to so many areas of their life. You miss out on a good job opportunity because you can't control your emotions and you don't know where that's coming from. You maybe mess up a really good relationship because you're really insecure about parts about yourself, but you don't want to admit that. You mess up good friendships because you can't communicate when something's wrong because you're like, well, you know, I'm a dude, like I don't care. And it's like, I don't know, especially reading that book and understanding how much our childhood like affects us and then like paralleling it to my past and past relationships. And I'm like, dang, if he would have read this or if we would have known this, maybe we could have fixed these issues.
Right.
You know, but of course, as a woman in my reflection period, and that's not to say that I don't have options as a woman. You know, I'm not just sitting here waiting, but I also am aware that I feel that like when I know the person's the person, then we'll both know we're the person, and God's going to make it very clear. And I feel like I haven't gotten that yet. So I'm 22 and I'm young, and I'm taking my time because I don't want to be the person that just goes relationship to relationship to relationship, because heartbreak sucks. I want to be the person that like the next relationship is hopefully the last. It may not be.
Yeah.
But I would rather have
You're dating intentionally.
My girl Shantae. But yes, men should go to therapy. Women should also go to therapy.
Everybody go to therapy.
Everyone go to therapy. And that's not to just fill up psychologists and psychiatrists and all, like not to fill up their pockets, but more so because there is like cognitive studies, like studies of the brain that show how we act as people and how we react as people and all of that. And I just think it's so beautiful. But don't let your therapist like be the person that validates how you feel. They should push you. They should be the person that's like, but maybe you shouldn't have done that. And then you're there like, but that's not what you're supposed to. I'm not paying you to tell me that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But
let them do their job and not just befriend you or like always be on your side. I think that's pretty important. Wait, I want you to tell them one story because she told us before the set and we died laughing. So you do have a preference when it comes down to the men that you date.
I do.
And that preference is?
Oh my gosh. Well, first, when I ask my mom if there's a type of man she wants me to be with, she always says, whoever God sends me.
I love that.
So I'm open to any kind of man, any kind of culture, not any kind of religion. I'm so sorry. So he could be black, white, African. He could be Asian. You never know. You might see me pop out with a fine Asian man.
Hey.
He could be like, I don't know, Hispanic. He could be anything.
Yeah.
But I was talking about the first time I went on a date with a white guy.
With a white guy.
Love me my white man, especially if you look like Travis Kelce.
Oh my God.
But
you like them bearded up like that and thicker?
I did.
Oh.
I did talk to one once. It just, he's like international, so it fell off with us. But that's not the point. I went on a date with this white guy for the first time. And we went like to a coffee shop. It was cool. Conversation was great. We were getting along really great. Chemistry was amazing. And then we're talking about our favorite dogs. And I was like, oh, I don't like the dogs that look like mops. You know, like the dogs. Yeah. They just look like mops. And it's like, you should be laying on the floor for other reasons, not because you're laying down. But anyways, so I tell him that. And he's like, oh, you don't like the ones that look like mops? And I'm like, no, I don't. And he's like, why? Because like y'all have the same hair?
No, that really gets me. Like, what do you say after that?
Oh, he thought he killed with that one, boy.
Well, I was just like, this is never going to work. This is never.
I would be too stunned.
I think that's just,
I was. The woman was too stunned to speak. That's what happened. I literally was just like, and it got worse because I was like, we don't have the same hair. And he's like, yeah, y'all got dreads. And I was like, these are not. All right. Can we get the bill? Like,
nah,
that's actually insane.
That was so bad.
Yeah, that's really funny.
But well, thank you so much for joining us, Kelly. This was amazing. I had so much fun.
Yes, I always have fun with y'all, except for that one. But me and Shantae, I'll go to y'all's house unannounced like I did last week.
Oh my God, you scared me the last time. I'm like, what the heck? What the heck? I went and then I saw this little person. I was like, oh.
Little is crazy.
All you see is the bun in the peephole.
Oh my gosh.
Because you know that's your signature style, like the blonde bun or the blonde braids. I was like, oh, it's just Kelly.
No, I came in and I was like, Shantae.
And you keep calling our dog
Mimi.
Her name is Blue.
It's all good, though.
It's all good. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. And thank you again, Kelly, for coming. Also, remember our Dear Suffren or Dear Young and Suffren segment. Email us any questions, any stories you have that you'd want us to delve into at, what's it called? At youngandsuffren@gmail.com.
Make sure to follow Kelly on all platforms as well.
Yes, and her streaming. Insane.
Yeah, the stream.
You should go on there, baby. It'd be so fun.
Isaac, you need to come on one of my streams.
Yeah, I'll pop
But
up.
like, be prepared to be active because it gets active in there.
Yeah,
I've seen it. It's like a whole production. I'm like, what
I've
the
seen
heck?
it on social media. Nah, let me know. I'll pull up.
Yes.
And I mean, you're not far.
I gotta
from
call
us.
you in the middle of the stream. I gotta be like, Isaac, guys, I'm calling Isaac. Isaac, come over right now. And you gotta show up.
I don't know security at your place. I don't know. They don't play around. So
Yeah, we need to upgrade our security. Shoot. Anyways, thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.
See ya.
Take care. Bye.
That was so fun.
That was so.